sit next to him? Can I also have a bit of space? Or?
Oppression.
Okay. So the people from the workshop got to know you already, but still I would like to use the time a bit to let you tell us a bit about your history. So you're Martin from Slovakia, dancing and teaching dance. Can you tell us a bit more about your path in dancing?
In dancing, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, started when I was 17. So did not dance, encounter much dance before. I didn't think of it, didn't see much performances. So it started at 17, and then when I was 18, I went to study pedagogy of modern dance in Bratislava. So it's the University of Music Dramatic Arts. So then I did study there for 5 years. Actually, it's a teacher's education, yeah. So you really study to become a teacher. And apart that, so this was a day program, and then afternoon, evening program. There was a dance company with a group of friends. So then we were training and dancing a lot. So after university, there was always like an evening program, making performances, and so this was like 5 full years of just sucking everything what I could and doing as much dancing. And then when I was 23, I went to do an audition in Belgium. Was taken for a dance company there and started to work there, and I'm in Belgium since 22 years. 22 years. Yeah. So that's the shortly path. I mean, I could say other names or people who I worked with, but it's.
But you started quite late.
Yes.
Or is this normal, you would say, or are you a bit of an outlier?
I think in contemporary dance it's quite usual to start later. For more ballet or traditional dance, much earlier. Like I have a lot of friends who were dancing with me that they were folk dancers. Folk dancers, it's like you start since you are young, 3, 4, 5 years old. Like it's already many people are dancing. I'm talking about Slovakia. And then also ballet, there is this elementary school, so like at the age of 6, 7 that people start to go, kids that they are taking lessons, and they enter conservatory at 10 or the latest at 14. But there it's quite rare that people would start later and then do classical dance or
And what got you into it?
Fame, money. No, it's as any other things. Actually, it's my sister was dancing. It was they had some presentation of choreographies, little competition, and the group of people was nice. The vibe was nice, so it was more like a people's connection. The vibe of a group. It was not the dancing itself. Even though there was probably something at that point. I did karate when I was maybe 10 to 14, and I was really into it. I loved all the katas and some part of fighting also a bit. But so I think there was something about the form, about moving, some kind of relationship with body, me, discipline, collective of people. So I think this was the mixture that I like about dance also.
And is still like this, or has this changed? Like
so
for you?
Yes. So I would say my relationship to dancing was mostly going through friendships and people that I like to be with and like to work with. Yeah, mm-hmm. Even though it took professional path, but I just always like to be with people that I feel good with, and also to work with people that they became very good friends. You know, so it's not always given, and many people who go through profession, they don't work with people who they like to hang out with. But that was not my case. Like I always had people that I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nowadays you're more teaching than performing. Is this right to say? Or?
Actually, yeah. Well, it is about proportions. So actually, I think most of the time what I'm doing now is I just work by myself. Would be, I don't know if it's a research or studying or just taking time to do things that I like to do. Yeah, I don't know how to call it, but it's, yeah, after many years I'm just working solo. So this would be the biggest proportion of time, and then the teaching, this would be more what you would say, like what do you do for your or like what kind of outcome it has towards the outside. So one form would be teaching, another form is performing. Performing, yeah, it's now much less. I used to be much more involved in creations and performing, actually more than teaching, and now the proportion shifted a little bit, but anyway, it's on the low percentage of all my time, the teaching and performing. More time goes to the playing around, just playing.
And yeah, since you're already above 40, but you're still very active in your training. So first of all, is this or something you would say you would also consider as normal in the dance community to have such a training regimen also when you're like for someone that is in a, let's say, professional physical thing like professional sports or dance or something like this, that's already a higher age.
Yes.
45. So there are two questions. First of all, do you think it's normal? Are many people doing this in this age? And secondly, because in other parts of dance like ballet, there people start to deteriorate like in their abilities after 30 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a bit like in gymnastics. They cannot hold themselves at the top anymore. Do you think in contemporary dance this is different? That's the second question.
So maybe from the second question, I think that, well, anyway, the contemporary dance goes through constant evolution and transformation, and actually the physical aspect of dancing can take a lot of different dimensions. Yeah, so it does not have the form, or like the physical. It doesn't have to be so demanding, or that it can take really kind of a personal adaptations. You don't have to fit into the forms. Like it's not like a gymnastics, that you have certain figures, you have certain level of performance, you have certain tempos and numbers of something that you have to do. Yeah, so actually you can go through constant adaptation towards what the performance needs. And what the performance needs, it's you creating. So so you are actually adapting to your actual state, and also the whole field it goes through the transformation where the physical aspect of it, or it's the kind of certain stamina and being able to perform fully, it's less demanded than before, or differently demanded. Yeah, so in that sense there is more and more people who are dancing to later age, It's within my field, of course. The proportion is there is many more young people, but it's not unusual. People of 40, 50, you have many people who are still, who are 60, who are performing, who are dancing, teaching, and so it's less and less exceptional, and it's happening more and more. But I would say at the age of, around the age of whatever, like my age, I'm 45, so I don't think it's that much of a physical abilities that it's standing in the way. It's more the place in the society. Like this age has certain specificities, like people start to have families, people are in the positions, people need to take care of many things. So anyway, like you start to be so much less available for the field, and the field is creating and touring it's hardcore, because you just leave, you go somewhere for a week, and so like you just, these practicalities are hard to resolve. It's not so much the physical aspect, but it's more it's the organization, and it's also the interest. You start to have different interests, and then they are maybe not for everybody compatible with the performance on stage. So it's more, this is the change. It's not that much of a physical difficulties. It plays, but it's not.
And you clearly kept your taste for dancing, and I think this is very connected also with that you make it a very personal thing, like that you make the dance your thing. So I would like to know, what are the particularities of what you're doing? What is your stuff, like also the stuff that you teach? I think which is the same, no? This thing that you do for yourself is also what you teach. So what is this? What is some key points about it?
I think I like to learn things. I like to examine things. And it happened since beginning. It happened that I understood things about me or the environment or life itself through dancing. I often have this, it feels like the dancing is like a little sample of what is happening around in the personal relationships, in work, in life, and so I think this keeps me going, and I think that could be examined on any level or any craft or any topics, but it's just since I have so many insights into dancing, so it feels like I'm using those insights to build this understanding on. And somehow maybe also, I don't know, bit too scared, or I don't want to take away this background. Okay. So I think maybe that's why dancing, because I've been doing it for a long time, and I keep on doing it, and I don't dislike it, so it just keeps on going. I mean, I don't know. It's strange. Maybe it is weird to say, but you go through the waves of being interested in dancing and leaving it on the side or embracing it again. But it never arrived to the point that I felt like, okay, I'm done with this. I don't really know why. I don't really know why. It's almost feel like it's just happening to me that I still like it and I'm doing it. I don't know what are the reasons, probably many. And yeah, I didn't say much about what I'm doing.
No.
About
One thing that is center of what you do is the open form. Is this correct to say?
Yes. Okay, so I will summarize it like this. There are a few interests really related to dancing and creating, and there are a few interests that has been going on for a long time. I like skillfulness. Yeah, I don't know why, but I like when I get to know how to do something and I know how to do it better, like the cleaning the floor. I don't know, it's kind of the nerdy stuff, but I just like that. So dancing is one area where I can examine, and there is always something new coming that I feel okay. I'm more skillful in it. Another interest in it is it's a good field to examine the well-being kind of maybe treatment, rehabilitation, well-being, just like this kind of bodywork area where I always had interest in there, and so I'm using all these dance tools to try to uncover the mechanisms, like how to help myself, how to help others. It's not really therapeutic in that way, but it's just how to feel good through different procedures, like how to resolve some little difficulties, pains, injuries, tensions. So this is another strong interest. And then, of course, it's a field where you can be creative, you can be inventive, you can invent what kind of work you do and how you do it and in what proportions, and it's kind of examining, shaping the reality, but through this perspective of dancing. This is quite exciting. It's like moment to moment. I can decide and tune the parameters, and the field is very open for it. Yeah. Okay.
Good. Okay, I would open the room for questions now. Also, someone that is not here physically, only wired, has a question, then Zhao is monitoring this. Someone's coming there. So, who in the room has a question? Maybe I start with Annika, because Annika had a question. She told me.
Yeah. Yeah, one question is, I realized that people that are not coming from dancing, that are not like professional dancers or have no background in dancing, but they have more background in other types of movement, many of them, they have a lot of fear of dancing. For them it's very scary, yeah, I think it's connected to also to this open, like to expressing and stuff. And I was wondering what you would, as a teacher, what you would give to these people, what you think they need in order to free themselves a bit and actually experience this feeling that you're talking about, this feeling of dancing, because they cannot experience it if they are too much scared of their own judgment. And
I don't know, it's maybe like my dad was saying, and if you take somebody cross-country skiing for the first time, and you put him in the horrible conditions, like it's, you know, it's snowing and cold and winter and the skis are not waxed properly, and so they are just really in the misery. There are a few people who would be excited about that kind of challenge, but I think to create some kind of step-by-step scenario where it's not too far from people's experience, and then to start to slightly shift it and present different point of view. It's very welcoming and inviting procedure. So more concretely, I think what I would do more concretely if this kind of workshop is a little bit different. It's different situation. Like you just come in and I present my universe, but it does not have that idea that you are taking people on a journey and step by step regularly you are inviting them in and guiding them. So I don't know, I think if I would have that kind of group and people interested, I think I would go from what they know, what they have as a background, and then slowly start to shape certain parameters that I know that they are coming from dancing for me, and for them are pretty straightforward and tangible.
Jean?
Yeah, I have a question. You talked about that sometimes you lose interest in dance or lose a bit of interest in dance. And what catches your interest? Is there a particular thing that you shift towards, or is it many things and every time it happens it's a different thing, or do you come back to some other place when you shift your interest?
Well, the thing is that, okay, like lately I do make a bit of a distinction between dancing and professional dancing. Yeah. Because this occasional dancing, like going to have good time or to feel a certain way when you are doing it, yeah, this just happens here and there, and it's really a taste related thing. Like you have taste to go out and fluff around or not. Yeah. And so I think the interests that I have, that they are keeping me like every day busy and have the whole day or many hours busy, I don't know if they are so dancing related, you know, like they're just kind of ideas or sensations or concepts or these kind of things that you just, I don't know why, for some reason you get interested in them. Like just get interested in pushing the floor. I don't know what it has to do with dancing, but I like how it feels like. Yeah. And then sometimes it takes this form that I feel like, okay, well, now I'm dancing with it, but it's almost like it's not the central field or the central idea, this dancing, or everyday idea. It's become more and more occasional, and then even creating and performing it, it's like you just deal with so many different things and not really feeling like you go dancing for that reason. So yeah.
We done some dancing without music. Do you think it's important to dance sometimes without music? Like,
It modifies the feeling. Yeah, it's something else, and actually it often doesn't feel like dancing if there is no music to me. I don't know why. It's very connected. Maybe how I started or something, but it's like interpreting the music. It's the dance score. Yeah. So if there is no music, I just the feeling is a bit different. It's not that it's not possible, but I don't know. I don't know if it's important. No, not really. I don't think it's important. Then, if you want to, but then we are again more in this working area. Like if you want to develop certain properties, certain independence, certain relationships to the absence of music, then you have to work without music, because that becomes the concept. Yeah, like dancing without music, that becomes the idea. But it's not the most fun for me in that sense, for sure. But I do it a lot now. But I think I just dropped dancing. Dancing idea.
And some time ago, it was a lot in your workshops. Like 2 years ago. Or something.
Yes. Yeah.
They played like only one song a day or something like that.
Yeah. Because there was exactly this kind of period came that I thought like I am interested in the work and in the ideas and in the exploration, but it does not have to be necessarily dancing. I mean, when we are in the situation like this, of course, this is my perspective, or this is my expertise, so I try to bring it to you and offer it to you also. But for me, the proportions are different, and they can be random now.
When did you start focusing on the feeling? Or like, was there a moment where suddenly your perspective shifted from the form and maybe more? Yeah, I mean, I think you are still very technical, because there is a lot of specificity and detail,
Yes.
but there is a big you refer a lot to the feeling.
Yes.
It's very much orientated to this. Yeah, and I think this is.
Well, maybe I talk about it more also. Like lately, I was reading a book from Antonio Damasio. It is about feelings, and he refers to feelings as like really a huge spectrum of what we go through. So it says like what we name as thought or an idea, it is actually feeling, because you have to, how do you read your thought? Like you feel it. Like it's not that the word appears in here. It's not the visual reference. So maybe that's why I talk more about feelings. But this is something that I guess we did today. I like how things feels like. If I push into the floor, or if I pull on something, or if I contract, or if I release, or if you move swiftly through space, it has certain type of enjoyment, and when you move slowly through space, it has another type of enjoyment or another type of feeling. So actually, form incorporates a lot of how you feel.
It's maybe connected to observe, no? Or like, feel it. How do you feel? Don't try to resolve it. Just feel it, And then, I don't know.
It's not that it's just because you ask like how. I would not put form versus feeling. I would put like, okay, it's different concepts and different words, but the form feels a certain way. Yeah, if I sit this way, I just shape my body in the space. Yeah, I made another shape, but it feels certain way. would sit this way, it also feels another way. So
What I sense and observe from your kind of teaching is, because it's a lot of inner work, what we also do with your help, that's very self-healing. And you said, you mentioned before that this is one of your motivations or why you're doing it. Could you explain a little bit more about that, the intrinsic motivation, and also do you need any external treatments for yourself? Because the body seems very well built and flexible, and you have a good spine. Talk about that also.
I go very few to the treatments, or like with really very few. It's almost like I go to a doctor when I have something, you know, like so. That and then again, I don't know why, but I always cared about feeling good. Yeah, and also maybe it was the education from like of maintaining, not damaging, and maintaining. It was always in my head before. Yeah, so I always try to prepare myself well, that I don't run into some kind of problems or injuries. Yeah, that I try to always do as much as I could in order to perform well without damage. Yeah. So, and I think I said this, I don't know where is it coming from, this care and maintenance, because I know many colleagues and many performers, they don't care about it actually. You know, they just go rough and they play and they are interested in other things, but this well-being, it's not that much important for them. Yeah, so for me it was always important, and since it was important, so from beginning I was always trying to take care, to maintain, to feel good, to if I had pain somewhere, so I try to resolve it, try to search how, because also it was more enjoyable than to dance and to be with people, you know, like I don't know, like when you feel sick or tired or just not well in your skin, then to do anything, I was very dependent on that. Yeah? So I think that's why it became a theme, and then also to try to uncover some ideas and then to pass it to other people that they could help themselves in this way. So this became really, especially last few years, it really took a very central piece. Like even I said, okay, this performing, creating, dancing, it was a little bit on the side, and I spent a lot of time to try to research how to build certain properties of the body, yeah? Like something that I feel it would support my well-being. Yeah, so, yes. I don't know if I should say more.
I was wondering, how do you keep your ideas oily? You know, you speak of like the hips, keep oiling the hips. And how do you keep it, like, do you go and watch performances, or you have to take classes, you talk, you write?
Or are you just a genius?
Or you
No, it most of the time, like really majority of time, it comes from somewhere, from someone, usually from someone. Yeah? And then maybe I am lucky that I can work on one idea for a long time. Yeah, so I don't need that many. I just need something that is exciting, that I think, okay, wow, there is something, and I can go with, I don't know, 5-10 years with the same idea. And so that is developing, and so actually I don't come up with many ideas. They just by discovering something, and then by doing it, repeating it, it goes through a transformation. So here and there are moments of like, oh wow, feels like step up or step forward, like a development, but it's actually still the same idea. Yeah, or also like through teaching, like suddenly I explain to people something that I did not even think, or I don't even do, and then I think like, oh, that was, oh yeah. So these kind of procedures, they shift, but I don't come up with much stuff actually. Always take it from somebody. Yeah.
Do you have something? Well, I have two. One is about the swoosh. I forget the word for it. I like this.
The schwung.
Yeah. Ideas for like I do it and I notice like a sluggishness in myself, and then I like see you do it and it's like to play with it more.
You mean something really concretely, something more dynamic, something more explosive, something more like in this category? Because we did a lot of things that they are quite slow and steady and smooth and yes, yeah, I have actually also last few years they came couple ideas that I thought, okay, these are very intriguing, and they have applications towards dancing, towards healing, towards some specific qualities. Yeah, so one is this burn, the burn, twitch, sneeze, pinch kind of idea that gives you access to a dynamic. Yeah, just working with certain imagination and also incorporating that, like you touch something hot. Yeah, you touch and yeah, like this kind of reaction. So that was one idea that I played with a lot. Another idea which has also this dynamic, it's not so accented and explosive, but it has it's like this trampoline image. So it's more in the body, it's more like bouncing or jumping, or this ballistics or this dynamic elasticity. Yeah, that you do something and you have boom, you have this rebound from somewhere. Yeah, so that is also, that is not this slow and more steady concept, but it creates this musicality that you go somewhere and you rebound from there. So these are just two concrete ideas towards more speed, accents, dynamic. Yeah, like from nowhere to start the movement into pop. Yeah, this pop, and the other one, like once you are already moving, that you bounce from somewhere else. Second question.
Thank you. And also adding softness and rolling. I see you roll, and you roll, and and then I roll, and there's like a lot of
I think it's just doing these roles for a long time, plus caring about that softness. There were many. This is very dance perspective also. Yeah, the movement have to have certain textures and certain qualities and appearances. So if you really start to treat them, so you could deliberately roll this rough way, as what you said you feel, or you could deliberately roll in this soft way. Yeah? So I think it's just the years of being asked to incorporate certain qualities, certain textures. That is, I think that's what makes it. Yeah?
You mentioned a few times these days also that you use the performing as a point to depart from, to do from there, to do things from there, with the idea of performing. And on the other hand, there's also the idea of the health that is also so important. And when you just said it, I had the thought, okay, when you roll smoothly, on the one hand it comes from the idea of performing the roll nicely, but then on the other hand it sounds also, if you do it in this way, it's a healthy roll. So now my question that came up is, what's the connection here between these two propositions that you have? One is the performing, and another thing is to work on being or staying healthy. That's so important for you. Are they disconnected? Are they connected? Do they meet bit or not so much?
It's okay. So for me, I think that's where I want to go. I want to connect things. I want to mix things. So let's say if you said the performing and maybe this kind of treatment perspective, I would like to connect them. So I would like to do a performance where at the end of the performance I finish and I feel like, okay, this was a nice treatment session. But at the same time that the performance was really fully done and completing the concepts, what the performance should be, what the performance should convey. Yeah. Then, but also it's just it's two different perspectives and they have different what you care for and why doing things and what I care for, they are different. Yeah. So I think in performing what I would care for, in performing is like you are presenting something, no? Presenting something, whatever was decided. Movement sequence or idea or the choreography that was established, like performing the music. Yeah? And I think the care there is to do it to portray or to do what was choreographed in the closest way to the ideas, concepts or movements that it was intended. Am I making sense? Okay, yeah. If my idea was that I want to lift my arm smooth, gentle, soft, continuous, without stops. Yeah. I care about those ideas and I want to present those ideas to you in the best possible way that I know you are viewing it, and I would try to. I'm just presenting that concept. I'm just presenting the movement. I'm doing it the best possible way. Yeah. So that would be performance perspective, and then more. So it is me engaging into the ideas, bringing them to you. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, treating feeling good has a different intentions. I'm not doing something for you. I am doing something towards me and towards myself. and so it might feel like a split of interest if I'm performing. I do something for you. That's it. Yeah, so I'm doing something towards outside, and I'm doing it for you, and at the same time I wanna treat myself, so I want to do something for me, and I think they can be matched, and can find a way how to make these things go hand in hand, but it's another specific topic. Yeah, like how to do these both ideas at the same time. Yeah. So anyway, that's maybe that's the combination of performing and certain kind of care or treatment, and that's the search that I try to do. Yeah, that I present it, but I also care about how do I exist within this proposition. Yeah, it's not easy because if you do something for somebody else, it's not easy to include you and your needs and your wishes and inside of that, but I think it's possible. Yeah. Seems easier in the dancing or in my art than in life, but I think it's a life question. No?
Okay. Yeah. Julian?
We did this meditation from the book 5 Invitations.
Yes.
Maybe you can share some more thoughts and maybe as well connection for you to dance from this.
So anyway, I did not say it well, so it would deserve like it's just extract from a book of Frank Ostaseski. It's 5 Invitations. Anyway, I put it as a post on one of the Facebook posts, so then you can find it there. I find it very helpful, very touching book. It talks a lot about. Man has a lot of everyday experience with dying people around him, and so in that sense it goes very it's touched me many times, and also has some practical or realistic or philosophical point of view on this kind of extreme life situation. Yeah. So what reading it or what we were listening, I find it very tangible and practical help that I could really feel while dealing with physical scores. So this idea of resting while doing, for example, I have feeling I experienced it many times through different mechanisms. Suddenly having this feeling that I can be just doing this forever. It does not feel like it's asking anything from me, even if the scores were very demanding and physical and crazy. It just feels like I can just be this kind of perpetuum mobile, renewable energy. Yeah? So I have that experience, and now this is, I think, what he talks about more in the words and concept. And so he presents more from a Buddhist tradition and point of view with real experience of working with dying people. So I think that's the whole story.
It's now another topic, but in the last year I played a lot with your concept of the trampoline. Like to get one point and do the trampoline concept, and on one point I asked me where's the way going. Like I just do it for the joy, and it was exciting for me. But what was your idea behind this?
So okay, one clear intriguing idea is, can I do it, yes or no? Yeah, just if I take any kind of movement, any body part, any direction, so can I change it into this very specific, I color it with this very specific imagination. Yeah, I do something, yeah, and then okay, can I incorporate this look and this feeling of as if this would be my body encountering a trampoline and jumping away from it. Yeah, it's not the first time I encounter it, but it's kind of a very clear known dynamic of bouncing and this, yeah, everybody jumped here and there on the trampoline, so you know the sensation. So this just became intriguing. Yeah, I could do it some places, some body parts and some moves, but not all. Yeah, like the bouncy push-up, let's say. Yeah, so this became just first thing, okay, can I do it, yes or no? So it became more education of me being able to portray something, being able to portray a trampoline. Then, of course, I kind of in the back of my mind, I thought like, maybe by doing this a lot, I mean, probably I will change who I am. Yeah, physically, mentally, all kinds of through wiring, way of thinking, because it's such a kind of it's this kind of bouncy light quality. So I'm sure it will have impact on my physical body, but it will have impact on my emotional body also, and of my way of thinking and seeing things and going through the world. And I'm sure it has some kind of philosophical applications. So anyway, it felt like an idea that I want to engage to, and that it will have huge impact and crazy benefit. And I understand the mechanisms. I can also share it with other people. So yeah, so that's why I started to do it and continue doing it for so maybe like 4 or 5 years now. I'm doing it like very regularly. Yeah. And I mean to praise about that, I indeed feel that it really changed the way how I can move. Like what they are asking Erin, that it has some kind of access back to this youth and the dynamics or the way of moving, how kids are moving, not like how old people are moving, but yeah, I really feel much more equipped or much like transformed through this way of moving. It's not this heavy, stiff, rusty, tired, old kind of way of moving, but it's really this kids-like way of moving around. So, yeah, but I didn't go into it through that goal. Okay, so I will be this bouncy kind of. It just became an interest. Can I do it? Yes or no? And where I couldn't, so I started to educate myself.
Yeah, Adrian?
I noticed a few times during the dancing you had moments of very intense breathing, and I was wondering if there was an idea behind that.
It's I have that interest since a long time, but the interest was more like idealistic. That I heard it's important. I know that people talk about it. I heard many people are. I should do it, but I never got to it. Yeah, or never. I didn't get to it for a long time, so I knew about it. I heard about it. I saw things. I did a bit, but yeah. Breathing, yes. And so in somehow in past some years, I actually became interested. Yeah, just it's. So I started to do it more, and then of course, then if you are really interested, Then you go around and you meet people, you search for some procedures or you encounter, and then there are now various approaches, different way of breathings that I saw somewhere or I did with somebody. And as with anything else, I just go and I play around a bit blindly, like, okay, if they are doing this one, then why not me? And why not anytime, anywhere I want? So just like it's moving around, it could come, yeah. And then there is the deep and long, and then there is end of exhale, there is end of the inhale, then there is the heavy breathing, then yeah, and since I'm not bound by certain perspective or certain dogma, then I can just take any of those, and there are so many various breathings around that you can just go and play this end of exhale. Yeah, and so it takes colors, and of course the performing and in the social situation is nice doing it, so we are doing it a little bit more than the others here also, that I'm doing something, and so and like this is sharing. So anyway, that's about the breathing in the class. Yeah. I'm not teaching it yet much. Yeah, it's again also several years I'm busy with it, but I'm not. Seems like a deep and tricky topic to go around, so I'm holding to have more experience.
I have a question that's related to the breathing question, which is you are very expressive when you do things or when you speak, and obviously that's related to the performance, the dance performance. But is it something? I have like a multi-part question. The first question is it something that you train or you learn or you teach yourself consciously, and you try to produce a certain emotion when you, for instance, when you are teaching? Is it something that you are consciously aware, like, if I want to convey a certain feeling, I need to do it like this?
Well, emotions, like emotions and expressions. Yeah, I think emotions are in the state of are. Like, you don't have to invent anything. Like, you go through emotions. It is happening. Yeah, it is in the state. It is happening. You don't have to invent. You don't have to create anything. The expression, I think, is different. Unless some situations that they are really like you go and suddenly you get scared. So it comes out also, but. There also, I think we are very tuned and conditioned to, like you see in some cultures, no, they don't let things go out. It doesn't mean that they don't feel, that they are not emotional, but it's just like they don't express. Yeah. So consciously expressing, definitely, and then feeling things. It's about that paying attention. So you can notice because it is happening, no? The emotion is happening, so you can notice it, and you can also give it more importance, and you can try to cultivate it or nourish it while it's there, so like you can try to feel it more intensely. Even though I'm not sure we have possibility to do that, but it looks like, okay, I can be really looking at it stronger, or like accept it, embrace it, like really live with it stronger. But the expression is definitely there is part that it just happens, and there is part that it's very deliberate.
part to the question?
Yeah.
Do you incorporate this also in your daily life, not just when you are teaching or performing? And do you think this also makes you a better performer?
Well, for sure, definitely. Like it seeps into, like, everything what you do a lot. It just seeps into your everyday life. You know, like I don't think you can avoid it. Then you can encourage it more, or you can try to kind of suppress and hold back. But yes. And what was the
What do you think it makes you a better performer?
Well, I don't know if it makes a better performer, but you gain definitely more experience with it, like, because you spend more time with it. So, you know, I don't know if it makes the performance better or worse, but you have more time to do it and more experience with it and different situations and among different people, and so I think it gives you like the library. It's larger, but I don't know if it's better.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, time is up.
Okay, let me go.
Do you want to have a last sentence?
The last word, amen.
Famous last word
Famous
of a
last
dancer?
words of a dancer. No, I mean, you know, just nothing special. It's just, well, thanks to the director of the school.
You can say something else.
This is happening. Oh, you know, it just goes back, like you were also asking it, like many things go for me through personal connection, and this is very nice, you know, like we got to know each other, what is it now, 50 years ago, yes, and you know, it takes time also, but it's the relationship keeps on going, and it's suddenly I am sitting here, and it's just to say thank you, and I appreciate also there's so many people who one could invite, and there's so many interesting things, and it's also what is special and specific and different for me, that you are related to me through him. Yeah, like it's a different relation. I don't come to a place that people come just from somewhere with no connection, but okay, like we have closer connection, and like this I have a bit closer connection to you. Yeah, so this is very specific. It's different than other workshops. So I don't know. I like it, and you know, like also he doesn't have to do this. So it's nice that he goes through the trouble of organizing all of this, and yeah, like also let you connect to me in that sense. Anyway, maybe just that.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Martin, for being here.
Good. Nice. Thank you.
Yes, coffee! I didn't drink it.
Just